Have you ever wondered what the chances are of you becoming rich and famous, or even becoming the President of the United States? But what is the most unlikely thing that could happen in the entire universe? In today's video, we're going through increasingly unlikely events until we end up at an event where even winning the lottery seems likely by comparison. Before we continue, what do you think about today's video? Let us know in the comments below. Let's start off with a more likely event. Imagine walking into a room with 23 random people. The odds of sharing a birthday with one of them? 1 in 2. So there's a 50-50 chance that you'll find someone that was born on the same day as you. It's quite likely to share a birthday, but what about how old you get? Well, if you're a girl born in the United Kingdom in 2011, there's a 1 in 3 chance of you reaching the age of 100. The chance is reduced to 25%, or 1 in 4 if you're a boy. Still, not too bad. The chances of rolling doubles with 2 dice is fairly common too, with a 1 in 6 probability. Talking of a more damning and a little less likely scenario, the odds of getting killed in a crash in the United States stand at 1 in 106. That's still more than twice as likely as having identical twins. The odds for that are 1 in 250. Earning a small fortune and becoming a millionaire isn't very improbable when compared to some other events featured later in this video. The odds of that are 1 in 600. But to join the ultra-rich and become a billionaire, that's where it gets really improbable. Those odds stand at about 1 in 3 million. Earning big bucks doesn't always mean becoming famous. It's a goal for many, but the chances of attaining fame are 1 in 10,000. To be fair, that's not a high chance, but those odds are still better than bowling a perfect game. The odds for that stand at 1 in 11,500. We talked about identical twins, but what about having identical triplets? Expectedly enough, the chances of that are way lower than twins, at 1 in 62,500. For poker fans, the ultimate hand is a royal flush, but of course, that doesn't happen every Sunday. The chances of getting a royal flush in Texas Hold'em are a measly 1 in 649,739. That's still more likely than winning an Olympic medal, which has a likelihood of 1 in 662,000. Salute to those who actually do reach the Olympics and then go on to win a medal, because that doesn't happen all too often. Earth is often in the firing line of fragments of asteroids and comets, but the probability of actually getting hit by an asteroid isn't too high. There's a 1 in 700,000 possibility of it happening. Becoming famous was rare enough, but to be a movie star is even less likely. That's a 1 in 1.5 million chance. Now, sharks are often seen as scary. We've all seen footage, documentaries, or Hollywood movies featuring horrible shark attacks. But to actually be attacked by a shark? Very unlikely. The odds of this unfortunate event stand at 1 in 3.75 million. Not a lot, right? But the chances of getting killed by a shark are a lowly 1 in 11.5 million. These odds are even lower than being killed by a bee. Bee stings hurt, and in very improbable events, they can even be deadly. The chances of getting killed by a bee are 1 in 5 million. Let's talk a bit more about the probability of accidents and natural disasters. So, what are the chances of being struck by lightning, for example? Not too damning, at 1 in 5.5 million. But did you know that getting struck by lightning is still more likely than becoming a United States president? This is certainly not an effort to demotivate anyone from pursuing that goal. In fact, go for it, because if you become one, you'll be achieving the unbelievable odds of 1 in 10 million. Car crashes are pretty common occurrences, but rarely is anyone afraid of stepping into a car. What people are afraid of, though, is flying. Well, statistics suggest that driving a car is far more dangerous than riding in an airplane. The possibility of getting killed in an airplane crash is only 1 in 11 million. With a 1 in 12.1 million probability, becoming an astronaut is statistically even more improbable than shark attacks or plane crashes. That may change in the future once we conquer Mars. We've talked about the chances of having identical twins or identical triplets. The rarest of them all is having identical quadruplets. That's just a 1 in over 15.6 million probability, a miracle even by statistics. The tropical superfruit, coconut, is quite exotic and has many health benefits, but beware, it can kill you. An average coconut weighs approximately 3 pounds, and when it falls from a high-hanging coconut palm, it's certainly dangerous. However, it's an extremely rare occurrence, with the chances of death by coconut standing at a mere 1 in 270 million. But that's even more probable than winning the biggest lottery in the world, the US Powerball. The winner takes home close to $500 million before taxes, but the likelihood of that happening is 1 in 292 million. No wonder most winners prefer to conceal their identity. So we've talked about some likely and some truly unlikely things that can happen to a person. Some of these numbers are very fascinating, but one has to wonder, what's the most unlikely thing that can ever happen? Well, the next event we're featuring is so improbable that it dwarfs everything on this list so far. Shuffling a deck of cards serves the purpose of changing the card order so that everyone on a table can test their luck. But what if you shuffle the cards and end up getting the same order twice in a row? The chances of that happening are 1 in 52 factorial. There are 52 cards in a deck, so there are 52 possibilities for what the top card could be. For the second card, there are 51 possibilities, 50 possibilities for the third card, and so on. So this gives us a formula of 52 times 51 times 50 and so on, which in the language of math is 52 factorial. It is a truly gigantic number, a number so big that every time you shuffle a deck of cards, chances are that you've put them in an order that they have never been in before in the history of humanity. This is because 52 factorial is 8.0658 times 10 to the power of 67. By comparison, the observable universe is only 1 times 10 to the power of 18 seconds old. So, even if you were shuffling a deck of cards every second since the universe began 13.7 billion years ago, you still wouldn't come close to shuffling every arrangement possible. Quite astonishing, but even that doesn't paint the picture of just how huge this number really is. So, in order to get a grasp of just how big the number 52 factorial is, you can imagine this scenario. Set a timer to 52 factorial seconds. Here's what you could do in that time. Stand on any point at the equator and take a step forward every 1 million years. Once you've encircled the Earth, fill a bottle with water. Now, continue walking at that pace, and after every journey around the Earth, fill another bottle with water and stack it on top of the others. Repeat this process until all the water on Earth is gone. Your tower of bottles has now reached the center of the Milky Way, and you take a look at the timer, but it barely changed at all. As you can see, the timer still stands almost exactly the same time, with only a slight change in the 23rd decimal. Since there's no water left and the tower is finished, you start taking one bottle off the tower every time you take a trip around the equator. Once you've completely dismantled the tower, count a star in the universe. Keep building and dismantling the tower until you've counted every star in the universe. Now, take a look at your timer again. You're not even close to running out of time. You started the timer at 8.0658 times 10 to the power of 67 seconds, and after all of that, it's at 8.033 times 10 to the power of 67. In that time, you have encircled the Earth 1.94 times 10 to the power of 44 times, and counted 7 times 10 to the power of 22 stars. But you'll have to repeat this whole process of encircling the Earth, building the tower, dismantling the tower, and counting all the stars another 250 times, and only then will you be able to finally get the timer to 0. That is how big 52 factorial is. Safe to predict that getting the same order of cards on a shuffled deck may never happen. So, what do you think of this video? Did you enjoy the incredible list of the most unlikely things that can happen to you? Have you experienced any of these unlikely events? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.